on intro. Yeah, whatever.
Hi, Eddie. Since these guys can't do an intro by themselves,
Hi.
Eddie, Shane, Jay, Eddie's going to talk about track 13, Opkin, Call a Vessel, go.
Wow, he is
Wow.
just straight business, isn't he? This is
honest,
how you get
honest
those
time.
sales. Man.
Jeez. Anyhow, yeah. So the last full track on the album is Vessel, and I remember when we were writing this, I struggled a little bit because I was trying to figure out what exactly would fit properly, and we were still trying to like realize the track fully. We were kind of recording while we were in the studio doing it.
Yeah, that was. I remember like it was a little touch and go. Like we recorded and we were doing beds, so like everybody was playing at once doing the bass tracks. And, like, Eddie just didn't have something he was happy with. So he got a scratch track down, but was like, guys, I need to go home and take a look at this. And I remember, like, the three of us were a little bit worried. We were like, is Eddie going to get something for this? Like, this is a pretty important song. It's really complex. And the next day, though, came in. And actually, there's a video on YouTube of us all reacting to you recording that. And we were just losing our minds.
I remember that. That was fun. Actually, I remember taking the bed track into, like, another room in the studio. And just for, like, an hour while you guys were doing the beds, I was just, like, trying to hack away and trying to figure out what exactly it is I want to play. So I'll play it for you now. I gotta remember it properly. So starting with the chorus, it was a little kind of cool run where you started with the
part, I'm just going to jump back in. The cool part is you're supposed to count in fours for music. That's just how music's been written for as long as ever. But Shane's songwriting isn't quite normal, which is great. Hence that.
I think around the beat.
Right, because that's why we stopped in the middle of what was supposed to be the beginning of the second verse of Kin. That's how we get that weird kind of guitar-y solo-y thing that we talked about in the last video. And you expect another line in the chorus for Vessel, but
I didn't. Well, I'm curious though. So you were under a bit of pressure. I remember you were kind of stressed.
It was because when we were practicing, when we were writing it, all I really had was kind of roots. I just kind of stuck with the.
Yeah. You didn't even have that, man. You were like literally just holding.
Yeah, I think I was just holding holes. So
what got you there? Like, was there a eureka moment, or were you just dicking around and something?
It was. I knew I had to think of something that was more than just holes because it was. Or whole notes and just root notes really.
Yeah.
Because I heard it in my head and I was like, there needs to be something going to be like almost jazzy, but something a little filling, and because there was this big space that we left in between your vocals and the next kind of round of the chorus.
Yeah, because the only other things, obviously, Ian's really light on, I think, brushes in that track. Mm-hmm. The guitars are just doing single, like, wow,
exactly.
wow, wow. So, and then even the vocals weren't that complex, so it really did need something.
So yeah, we had this big long space. I knew that there was something that needed to fit in there. I felt like the bass was the thing to fill that void, and I just couldn't think of anything that would fit properly. So that's when I took those beds and just kind of hacked away in like the other room and just kind of I started like thinking about. I actually started like singing it to myself and just trying to think like what would I do vocally or like what would the bass do for its vocals, and I just kind of sing it to it, and I just kind of worked around that, and eventually I kind of came up with what I came up with, and then I kind of kept it a secret with these guys until I to actually record it.
And then I think I gave you a chocolate bunny.
I think so.
There was so much candy.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
oh my goodness. The thing here, I'll let your ego and your head grow a little bit. The thing that I loved the most about it though was that it kept evolving. So the basic like a do 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 was just a really solid start. But then every time you had a little, I don't even know what you call it, but like the response to your call or whatever,
like a little flare thing.
It changed every time, but it actually like it evolved in a cool way. So the first one was sort of mysterious and like do 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 do, and then by the time you get to the third, which is basically the last one because the fourth cuts, it suddenly gets really triumphant. Like it's growing into itself like do do do. It's like yes, I am here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was a pretty badass part, man, and I think it's one of the coolest things you've ever written. So.
Well, I appreciate that. That's cool. I'm actually very proud of it because it was kind of one of those challenges. And exercises in kind of creativity where you're like forced into thinking, okay, what would fit the best here, and that's kind of how I came up with it. So yeah,
so rogues.com, track 13. Listen to it in its entirety. Hit repeat for the choruses because that's Eddie's best part.
And keep listening after the track ends for a special surprise.
Ooh.
It's not porn, I swear.
Yeah. Everyone's into something.